Hi, I'm Kat, marketer turned brand storyteller.
And I'm Candace, educator turned entrepreneur.
And you're listening to
Not Nice, Clever.
As CEOs and leaders, it's your job to always have the answers, but sometimes you need a little help. Leverage, if you will. We get it. This is the place for you.
So wherever you're listening, 5:30 a.m. club at the gym, on your way to your next meeting, or putting out today's fire, let's get into it.
We are so excited to introduce you to Tricia Lee Riley on Not Nice Clever today. She is based in New York and a kick-ass real estate broker. Went from owning multiple small businesses throughout Brooklyn to selling multi-million-dollar real estate. She is founder of the Girl Gang Network, and on today's podcast, she is going to give you her hot take on humility. So let's dive in. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tricia, for hopping on with us here today. We're really excited for the Clever crew to get to know more all about you, and not just maybe in the typical lens of knowing you as a real estate agent, but really so much more than that. And so we always love kicking off these guest episodes by asking our guests, what is one thing that might be surprising, that's just on your mind, on your heart, that you really can't get enough of right now? Like, you can't shut up about it. Like, what's on your mind at the moment?
What's on my mind at the moment? I think the biggest theme in my life right now is wellness overall, like just wellness. I think that's something I can't shut up about right now, which is odd, obviously, as a businesswoman and real estate person.
Right. Yeah, because you've owned multiple businesses. Like, you went from salons to selling multi-million-dollar real estate. And we were just talking about before we hopped on here, you're like, yeah, I had some time this week, and most people would have taken a vacation, but I used it to get things done that just made me feel good. So for you, what would you say wellness looks like for you as a busy businesswoman who has multiple businesses?
I think it's just a matter of, and I hate everyone uses this term balance, but for me, balance is so key, because I'm that girl that really, I have a lifestyle belief in my head, and that's what I'm working towards, right? So it's it's not any one thing. It's just I am motivated every day to kind of get up and work towards the life that I want. And that is inclusive of a very successful business, but it's not a very successful business. It's so many other things. And so I think wellness is important to me because it starts with me, and everything I do, it's I'm the engine of everything, and I know that. So understanding that, after multiple careers, that I'm the common denominator, right? So when things are all over the place and scattered, it comes back to me. When things are difficult and just nothing can break through, and nothing's again, it all comes back to me. So I think that at some point along the way, I just realized I'm the most important person here. I'm the most important thing here.
Say it again.
And so wellness,
we love that.
Yeah, no, it is. It's I'm number one. I'm number one, and I am very committed to that. I think that when people interact with me, they're just how do you do that? I mean, I don't know how you do it. I just know that I'm there, and I know that it took me a very long time to be there. So the boundaries I set, the rules I set, when I say yes, when I say no, how I do things, if I do things, when I care, how much I care, whether or not I care, it really comes back to me and how I feel about things and my wellness. And my wellness is so important. It's my mental health. It's my rest. It's my ability to restore myself so that next day I'm better than I was the last day. That I get enough downtime to come back and put in a good day or put in a good fight. I'm just a good picture of everything, because to me, our success is defined by many things. I'm very clear on what my success is defined by. So it's my wellness that allows me to give it my all, really, and do it in a way that I'm proud of, more importantly. Yeah. Because when I've had success in a manic state, and it's just not as fun. It's just not as fun, when you're stretched too thin and you're not, and you're not good to yourself, and you're just not good in general. You're not, but you're checking these things off, and you're doing these things, but you're not enjoying any of it. And I know what that is. I've been there for so long that I know how to really clearly fight against getting back in that space and really managing myself, my time, and just my worth in a better way, honestly.
I think a lot of our listeners, Tricia, are maybe in that space where you were. They're
Mm.
seeing success, but they're feeling like taking a break or taking a step back or prioritizing themselves or their wellness is going to make everything crumble immediately. Can you speak to that a little bit? Like, how did you come out of that space, or what were some of the tools that you used, or I don't know, what happened? Was there something specific that happened, or was it just gradual?
I think I was always aware that I was just like a real gunner. Like I'm just like, let's get it done, let's get it done. Like I've always been like, I don't need anybody to motivate me. I don't need anybody to judge how I do anything, and I definitely don't need anybody to. I just don't need that. I don't need any outside sources. Like I am the person that is extremely critical of myself. I'm the person that is very motivational. I'm the person that I drive it all. Like I am the conductor and I am the engine. And that's just my personality, and I've always been that person. But I definitely felt like with my first business and my second business that I get to a point where, the reason why I say I'm the common denominator is because it's like I get to that same point in everything that I do where I become overwhelmed, I become a control freak, and I'm angry about it. But again, it's me, the starting point, that becomes overwhelmed, becomes a control freak, and then I get angry. And
Right.
I did that with my first business, and my dream really became a nightmare for me. And I just was like, like literally last night I was laughing with a friend, and she's like, because Tricia will quit. I was like, girl, I'll quit my own dream. So I'll quit anything you got going on. Like I just will quit. So I will. I'll quit. Like quit a job. I'll quit my own business. Are you kidding me? Like I will quit anything, a race, anything that doesn't serve me. I will quit it. And I just realized that like I get to that point because of some of the habits that I have. And the habits I have is that I am not a good boss to myself. By default, I am not. So what I do is I really work to, and it's ridiculous, but I have to put a lot of energy into treating myself good and to being good to myself as a boss, as the head of my company, as the face of my company, as the main engine to everything that I do. And it just shows up in different ways. I'm very gentle with myself in certain ways now. I make time for rest. I prioritize sleep. Like I book sleep into my calendar the way I book this into my calendar, and I don't skimp on the parts of things that serve me anymore. And then when you start to get into those small little habits, and it can just be something as small as, for me, it was something small like taking a proper lunch and going to lunch and sitting down and turning off the phone and giving my brain and my mind and my spirit an hour off to just take a break. Because I wasn't doing 7-8 hour days. I was doing 13-14 hour days, and I would just go and I would eat in my lap if I had to, and I didn't care. And what the visual is on that is immense success, but the reality of it is like something that's very uncomfortable. So I started small with little things like that. And then I did like, silly things like wellness and like spa stuff and, little things like that. And I call those things silly because those things don't make you feel better. They're great, but they don't make you feel better. But it's the saying no to certain things. It's managing my schedule better. It's kind of always going back to, would I consider myself a good boss to myself? And that's kind of where I have to go every time and make sure I'm not abusing myself as my own boss. And I, by default, will do that. And so now it's like, those are the parameters that I have to stick between. Like, is this good? Like, when's the last time you had a day off? Are you carving out time? Are you, and so at the other end of that on people interacting with me, it's like, oh, she doesn't take calls on Saturdays, or she's MIA after 8 p.m., whatever it looks like. But this backstory of that is that like those healthy habits are in place to make sure that I'm good. And when I do those things, I'm so good. I'm so much better. My work is better. My relationships, everything's better. Like my mind is better.
Yes.
My thoughts, my attitude, and the attitude is key. Like so much is better. So I am a little crazy about those boundaries now, just because it's always a work in practice for me. It's not who I naturally am.
I love that.
Yeah.
One thing that Kat and I talk to our Clever crew about all the time is setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah. And it's like everyone says that, but a lot of those boundaries are like, that's you.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anybody else. Like, I don't have a lot of boundaries with people because I have such great boundaries with myself. I know what I can, want to, don't want to do. And I know when it's too much. And I respect it and I honor it. And I also I take a lot of time for myself. I take a lot of time for myself, and I think I need a lot of that time in a way that maybe another person wouldn't, but I need it.
Yep. When you're setting boundaries with people, with clients, with colleagues, and you're like, I don't take calls on Saturday, can you share what that message sounds like specifically? Because Kat and I talk about this regularly, like boundaries are key. I don't take meetings on Mondays. People might
Same.
not like that, but that's something that's super important and it's crucial to our success. What is the messaging specifically for our audience so they could replicate the messaging? How do you have that conversation? Because I know already, and someone in the audience is saying, okay, like easy for her to say that, or she's probably losing clients because that's like the fear in people's minds, right? How do you speak to that, or what is your mindset there?
I probably am. Yeah, I probably am.
You're so unapologetic, Tricia. I admire you so much for this.
No, I would absolutely have to lose clients, but like not every client is my client, right? Like it's your vibe and then your tribe. I'm only focused on my tribe. Like I could care less about the 9 people that didn't choose me. The one that did is going to get serviced. She's going to get over-serviced, right? And that will lead to 10 other clients. So that's where I am with it. Specifically, what I do with my clients is yeah, it's true. And you onboard. Like if I'm a client for you, you guys are bringing me on as a client, you're onboarding me. And so when I am onboarding a client, although it be real estate and there may be a mindset that you're lucky to get a client, I don't feel like I'm lucky to get a client. I feel like we're both lucky. I do, because I feel like you've got a partner in this fight that's going to fight just as hard as you. You're going to have to pull me back sometimes. I might fight a little harder than you. I'm a come up for you. You're a come up for me. Like I am happy to have a client, but a client should absolutely be happy to have me. It's just the truth. And I could sit here next to my clients and say the same thing confidently, 120%.
We believe it. We hear it. Oh, we're here for it.
But I know I also do the work. I do the work. Like you're not gonna get me on the work. On the work, I'm gonna shut you down every time. Period. You know. And so I am like it is what it is, and like there's no argument about it. I think
I'm kind of obsessed with this topic right now.
It's so important. It's so important because we do everything out of guilt. And it's like, why? Like if I'm onboarding you, I'm like, can I share my schedule with you? What are your expectations about reaching out to me? And how many, so when I start with you as a client, we're going to have a small question to answer section where I'm just like, how many times do you want us to check in? And when would you like that to happen? 3 times a week, 2 times a week? I have clients that want to hear from me every other day. No problem. Can I share my schedule with you? Is the next statement. And I share my schedule, and I have a very routine schedule. I don't take anything after like 1:00 on Fridays. I'm completely available Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday, it's kind of like a soft, gentle 10-to-1 situation. And Saturday, she's MIA. You're not going to find her. You're not going to find, like my own partner's not going to find me. You should see me. I get up on Saturday morning. I'm in my car, 8:00, facial, I don't know, Central Park walk, whatever it is. It's mine alone. And I'm out. It's like 2 deuces because I'm gone. And when I get back, it's like, it was just my day. And sometimes it's just corny, like having fun in New York, which is respite for me. That's relaxing. Like if I drive up to 57th Street and run around Central Park and do a city day and I don't know, drink $8 coffee in the park, whatever my mood is, whatever it is that day, like I'm working for that shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm working towards that. I work this hard for that day or for that time. I'm going to be just as protective of that as I am when I'm in work mode and I'm grinding for people. But I start with that, and I can also assess before I ever have that conversation if that client is going to challenge that. And if they challenge it, they'll never hear from me. They just won't. They won't. I can show you text messages in my phone where it's like, just from the tone of the text message, I knew we wouldn't work successfully together because the dynamic is off, Next, move on. Yeah. I'll fail fast too. Oh, that's a fail. Let's move on. Like I won't bother with it. There's more than enough business out there. There's more. I mean, I literally, my screensaver on my phone, if you see it now, it's the city of New York. It's the city of New York because goddamn, there's a lot of real estate out there. I'm not getting stuck on anything. Let's go. What's next?
Let's go. Oh my gosh. I love it.
And you know what? I think people understand that when you have that level of structure, then you also perform with that level of structure. So I don't go missing with my clients. I don't send you nonsense like I'm on vacation, so my internet is crazy. I'm either on vacation or I'm working. There's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
No
well,
in-between.
like, no, like I am either working or I'm not working. If I'm on vacation, my clients have gotten a notice about the fact that I'm on vacation, and they have the contingency plan that's in place when I'm gone. Am I completely checked out? Absolutely not. I wake up in the morning, look at my emails, peruse quickly, make sure there's no fires, check in with my assistant, and then I'm gone again. You know, and that's a few times a week. Most clients don't even feel it because it's scheduled into the times that are lower in the business calendar too. But the structure is the structure. And so you can't love the structure and love what comes of it, but not respect it. I start with respecting the structure. And I also think that as a professional, I am available so many hours of the week that I'm never going to apologize for the hours I'm not available. You know, like I'm available 5.5 days a week.
Yeah.
5.5 days is a lot of days.
Kat's always talking about how desperate energy doesn't sell. Desperate doesn't sell. Kat, what is your phrase?
That desperate doesn't sell. It doesn't sell in business. It doesn't sell on Tinder. It doesn't sell on Instagram. It sells nowhere, ever.
It don't sell on none of that. Nope.
Ever.
Mm-mm. There are too many clearance stickers on here. We don't want it.
I love that.
It's clearly not a value. Look how many people have passed this up. No.
Say it.
I love that. I'm going to
It's
start
so true.
saying
It
that.
is
It's
so
true.
true.
It's true. You know, and I have a client this week that, you know, I shouldn't say a client, just a gentleman that reached out, and the tone was off. I didn't like it. It felt very like, I call it dangling a carrot when sometimes people approach me and they're like, oh, you know, I might have. Don't do that. I'll snatch it. Don't do that.
You'll snatch
Don't
it.
do that. Like I'm a professional. Yeah. Do you want to work with me or not? Like there's no dangling of a carrot. And so when someone does that, it's a complete turn off for me, because I feel like I have a value add, and I feel like if you need a service, let's talk about what the value add is and whether or not that's a good fit for what it is you're trying to do. 9 times out of 10, I think these are individuals that believe that I'm the best person for the job, but they feel that there's a level of hierarchy there, or like, you know, I'm the client, so whatever that is. And no, like, let's just figure out what the goals are. Let's just team up and let's just get it done. Let me guide you and let me show you how to do what it is that you want to do to the best of my ability and to really bring you success. Like, I'm that committed, but it can't start off in like a tone where I feel like we wouldn't work well together. When it does, I absolutely shut down. You know, I was like, oh, I don't have anyone for you. I can send you a referral, but no thanks.
Yep. And
he's like, we didn't even have a call. I'm like, dude, I don't need a call to realize that this ain't it. You know? And I don't lose any sleep over it. I just don't, because I can't. I don't lose any sleep over it, you know? And I know other clients are like, oh, let me try to refer and get a little paid on. Nope. Like, I just, I don't feel the desperation. I definitely am not in destitute. Like, I feel that everything is, and you know, that word abundant is overused, I think sometimes, but my career in real estate is almost 8 years old. I have never struggled for business, thank goodness, you know? And I think it's because I'm focused on me and I'm focused on the work. Everything else plays a second fiddle to everything, you know? And I think that clients understand that, and they understand that because the results have shown that. So it's like, there's no need for that dance. Like, what is it that you need? Let me see if I want to do it with you. Let me see if I can do it with you. Honestly, when I know I can't, I always say I can't, and I refer somebody that's a better fit. Because if you have success with them, that's still success you had through me. So I think about those things. True. I'm very thoughtful and I'm very honest, but I'm also very protective of like what it is that I have to offer. And I think so highly of it, what it is I do and how I do it, that, you know, Jeff, my partner, always says, you know, you're such an egomaniac. And I always say like, yeah, I know. Because it's like, you know, this industry beats you down. If you don't feel great about yourself and you don't build yourself up every day to come out here and do what you need to do, God bless you. Yeah. I don't know how you're out here I don't know how you're doing it, you know? So I do think that sometimes like having a little ego and understanding like, this is who I am, this is what I do. When I walk in the room, this is what you get. Like, I don't know. It works for me. I'm not going to say it works for everybody else, but it works for me. And I'm going to always stick to that, because every time I have ever failed miserably, it's when my confidence was shattered. I've never, ever done any great thing while I had poor confidence. And when I'm the most confident is when I think I produce the best, you know? And so I'm very cognizant of building my confidence. And like, if you are around me and you watch me work, you'll hear me say this all the time. I'm sorry, I just need to understand that better. I'm sorry, I need to understand that. Yeah, no, but Tricia Lee needs to know why that is. Like, and so I may have more questions. I may have, because I know that my confidence comes from my understanding and my knowledge, you know, and I'm like, well, I want to be able to do this confidently. So I got to get the key pieces I need in order to get that done. So I am going to review things more, ask more questions, challenge things a little bit more. But I want to get to a point where I feel good about it. And I know that I can put this in front of Candace, and be like, hey, girls, this is what you need. And this is why, you know, and I'm effectively doing my job because I have gotten myself to a place where I feel good about it. And I have to feel good about my work. I have to feel good about me. I have to feel good about my contribution to the room, to the event, to this podcast, to whatever it is. So I don't think that hurts in any way. And if it hurts me, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it because it makes me feel
the results
good
are there
about what it is I'm a part of.
Yeah. A lot of the clients that Kat and I work with are afraid of coming off as braggadocious. They want to be humble. And that's like a conversation that we spend a lot of time talking about. Because maybe there's a fine line between being humble, but also demonstrating your expertise and understanding your authority in the situation. Does that ever come up in conversations with your team members or with people that you work with? Like the idea of like, maybe you should be more humble?
It comes up all the time. And I'll tell you what one of my big sisters / mentors told me. And she told me this last summer. She was coming visiting from LA because she's like East Coast, West Coast, and God knows, like every Thursday she pops up. She's like, I'm in New York, I'm in LA, I'm in New York. She's that fabulous friend. And I ran into her in the park, and she pulls me aside and she's like, listen, I gotta talk to you about something. And she's like, I'm not seeing you in your stuff anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you know, I'm not seeing you in your stuff. Like, you usually talk your shit. I need you to talk your shit again. And I was like, what are you talking about? And it's so funny because what she'll never know is at the time I was taking on a project that had me feeling very like ill prepared.
Yeah.
And I'm not confident because I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, I know. And I was like, but Tracy, like, you know, I just feel like I'm always getting this feedback that I need to be more humble. And so it's like, I'm not being more humble, but I just want to pretend like I am just so people can shut up about it. And she's like, do you know what humble means? And I'm like, well, and she's like, no, look it up. So I look it up and I look up humble and it says something. Actually, I'll look it up now. Having or showing modest or very low estimate of one's own importance. So any way you look up humble, it's always going to be tied to a demonstration of how you don't want to misinform people that you think you're more important than you are. So I can't get behind the humble bullshit. No. I can't. So no. I do think that people struggle with that. I do know from that day forward. I do know from that day forward, I was like, yeah, no need. Like I was on the brakes and I don't need to be on the brakes. I get further when I have my foot on the gas.
I love that.
Period.
Yes.
So that is all I'll say about humility. I am well aware of how important I am. And I don't care if anyone else understands how important I am. I have great goddamn ideas. I matter. I walk into a room and I contribute in any which way. It could be something that I have known nothing about. I'll still be like, oh, why don't you put mustard in it? Like, that's me. So, no, I am very clear on how important I am. I'm very clear on my contributions. And I am concerned that anybody would want to humble me, but I'm not going to be the one to do it. No. That's my answer to that question. I think that should be the answer everyone gives to that question.
Such needed medicine for so many of our clever crew, just everybody in general. I love that you've like almost deprogrammed the niceness, the humble, the like, you know, don't make it about you, or, you know, it's all about the client, or the client's always right. And it's like, the client can be right, but if we're useless to ourselves, if you're useless to you, like you are useless to everybody, including your partner, Jeff, including your team, including your clients. Like we need to flip that script and stop like trying to people please ourselves to death, because that doesn't help anybody.
No one at all.
Yeah. No, I'm here. I make it better. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I'm here. I make it better. And like, I think my own guiding light in my life is about making contributions. I feel a responsibility to contribute to anything I do. We could be planning a road trip. I'm the one with the spreadsheet. I'm like, hey, let's. And according to my I'm that girl. I'm always trying to contribute to things.
Yeah.
You are a spreadsheet girl. I can see that.
I am. I love a spreadsheet. So I believe in my contributions to the things that I care about. I believe in my contributions to my work. I believe in my contributions to anything that I'm a part of. So no, I'm not going to shrink that. And I feel that I would want a client to interact with me and be like, damn, I'm in good hands. Like, I am in good hands now. And so I know when I leave a client with that feeling at the beginning, the middle, and the end. And I don't care how anyone else takes it, because every client I work with becomes a brand ambassador for my business. And that is how my business grows. I am not out here knocking on doors. I'm not out here at 20 networking events a week. I'm not interested in it. I don't have the time. Like, I am doing the work. And the work is the work is the work. And that is always going to be proven, right? So that's the most effective I can be with my efforts in my business, is to just do great work and to lead with that. That's going to be my way. Maybe it's because of my personality that's a better way. Maybe it's because I truly believe it's a better way. But I'm not about to shrink back myself to try to convince you that I'm the best person. I'm not going to do that. It's like anything. I feel like you have access to it. Enjoy the ride.
Yep.
Enjoy the ride. I just believe it. That's where I'm at.
Yep. I'm so excited about this episode because Kat and I are just going to send this episode to any of our clients who bring up all of these
Every single
topics
one.
and be like, look, you don't have to just hear it from me. Listen to this episode on repeat in your car, on your walk, with your dog, like all the time when you're getting your nails done. Listen to this episode because this is truly what it's about. And you have to believe that you're worth it. You have to believe that your skills and your experience are worth the wait even, right? Like, why would you work with anyone else when you just have to wait 24 hours to talk to me on Monday?
Yes.
That's
it. Or 12, right? And also, I think it's so important, and it doesn't always come naturally. You don't always feel that way. So it's important to understand and like watch for those flags when you don't feel that way. I shared with my partner the other day a habit I've had for so long. Sometimes I share things with him and I'm like, it's just too much. But I was listening to an old podcast that I was on, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm getting ready to do a podcast. So I'm listening to myself." And he's like, why do you do that? And I was like, well, I got to remind myself of, of my greatness, I guess. And he starts laughing. He's like, so you listen to yourself? And I was like, no, I got to get in the headspace. Like, I got to get it together.
Yeah.
But I do. Like, I have to sometimes remind myself, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm clear and I'm like aware and I'm self-reflective. So I'm like, well, you know what? Let me make sure that I'm in the best headspace for this. And so, like, is that by listening to something I've done in the past? Hell yeah, girl, remind yourself of how amazing you are. Or sometimes it's listening to another something that, or maybe it's a motivational. Sometimes it's a video. Who cares what it is? But you do need to kind of like lock in sometimes. And when I need to lock in, like, I may go back and listen to this. Because attitude is everything. Mm-hmm. Attitude is everything. And I got to get in the right headspace to walk into the room and do the things that it is that I'm trying to do. Mm. And who cares if I cheat? If I'm not feeling it today, let me cheat.
Totally.
And so sometimes I'll have to, as corny as it is, I can't believe I'm even saying this on a podcast. That's insane.
We say everything on here.
I listen to myself to remind myself.
Yep.
Yeah. But it works. Y'all should try it. I'm telling you, it works.
I love it. I kind of do that. I saw someone edited some reels of me on stage, and I was like, oh, damn, I would listen to that, girl. I was like, okay. But when I'm in it, I maybe don't notice it, right?
Save it. Mm-hmm. Save it in your favorites.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay, so you answered so many of our questions that we didn't even have to ask them, right?
We're just here soaking up the goodness.
I'm just all of it.
Thank you.
I think we asked one question out of the 5 that we had planned, and we touched on everything.
Oh, hilarious.
So what I do want to ask you, though, before we get into the rapid fire, is what's one thing that your younger self dreamed of that is now just part of your current reality, daily life, like you just have, but like something that you really longed for, or like maybe were envious of other people for having it, and now this is just you?
Ooh, one thing. So many things.
I know so many things, but we like to hear it all. We want to share the journey.
Yeah, there's so many things. I think so. When I closed my beauty business and I went into real estate, this is so corny, but like the first day where it like snowed and like it was like everybody stay inside unless you have to be somewhere in New York. And I had a new life and I had a new business. It was the very first day. And I remember being like, I don't have to do shit today. And I literally just took the covers over my head and just like went back to sleep. And I was so excited to like just stay home because my last 10 years had been like, oh my God, if it's snowing and no one can go anywhere, then they're stuck in their houses, they're stuck in their neighborhoods, and my businesses were booming. Like women around 12 o'clock would be like, I'm out. I can't sit in this house anymore. And so like snow days and really horrible weather days were phenomenal business days. And so you had to like swim to work if you ran a salon. And I ran 2 salons. Mm-hmm. And so bad weather days are triggering for me till this day because it's like, you see this glamorous salon owner, you don't understand she's been shoveling the sidewalk all morning. So I was most excited about that. But truthfully, like daily, weekly, regularly in my life, I think the best part of the success I have now, and it's corny as hell, but like I think all of us are trying to repair and fix our inner child. I love random acts of kindness. That is the best part of the resources that I now have. And where I'm at right now in my journey is I can just randomly fix things and resolve things. And money don't buy happiness, but it damn sure gives you freedom. And I have the freedom to randomly act kindly towards people. And it's the funnest little secret that I have. It's the best shit. Like I end up in places where, like last week, a woman's debit card wasn't working and she was paying for dinner for her and her daughter. And it's like, put that on my shit. Yep. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm just like, best swipe of the week, or like I've had that happen to the grocery store. And, just I like being able to just fix things for somebody that I don't even know. Like that's the best part of having resources for me. I mean, all the other stuff is like, whatever, like it's great, but then it's not even important enough to like, it doesn't come to mind right now, honestly. So it can't be all that great, but that stuff I like, or like if my mom is talking about something and it's just like, I can just like make it happen, like that's dope. Like that's so cool. God knows how she made things happen for me when I was younger. So I think that's the best part is just being able to randomly do shit that's really good. Like really, really good.
Right. And now you can pay it forward.
Yeah. And I say that. I always say that. Like, I always say that to someone. I'm like, hey, this lady the other day, right in the corner of my grocery store, I think it was just her card just was jacked up. And I've definitely been in that situation. And she's like, what can I do? And I said, girl, pay it forward. And I just gave her a hug, and it was like, boom, she's like, I can't believe you just paid for my groceries. I'm like, we'll do it for someone one day when you'll be able to. And I want you to do it for someone. Remember today, because it's like, those little blessings and those little angels have been through my entire life. I have had people save my ass. And that's the best part for me of my current situation by far is being able to just slide in and fix things that have nothing to do with me. Yeah, that's the best part.
I love that so much. One of my favorite things is being able to say, I got this. I got this. No sweat on anyone, right? Like, I got this.
Yeah.
Dinner, take my friends somewhere. I got this. Like, that makes me feel so good because I remember a time when, like, I could never get them, And so, like, I get so much joy from being able to say that.
Yeah, yeah. And, like, nothing else comes to mind when I'm asked that question. I would definitely say it's that.
I love that so much. Okay, Kat, do you want to do rapid fire?
Yes. Okay, Tricia. This is probably our favorite part of having amazing guests like you on. It's going to be rapid fire questions. We got about 5 or 6 of them. Just no wrong answers. First thing that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Oh, God. Yes.
You're good. You're good. Okay. What was one of your childhood nicknames?
Trish the Dish.
Ooh. Okay, love it. All right. What is your like go-to lazy dinner when you've just had like a day? Like what's the go-to?
Oh, they're so bad. I don't want to influence people to be bad. um, my go-to lazy dinner is probably. It's kind of gross though, but it's my favorite. I don't care.
That's okay. That's what we want.
It's
Tell us, yeah.
probably, and like Jeff is so disgusted by it, I can't even eat it around him. But it's Chef Boyardee ravioli.
Oh my gosh!
Tell us.
Hilarious.
Now I will say
We haven't heard that
one yet.
Foods out of a can. But wait, it gets worse. It's Chef Boyardee ravioli, and then I eat it with Ritz crackers and cream cheese.
Oh,
Okay. She zhuzhes it
I
up.
love
All
it.
right. Oh, a full culinary experience.
It takes 2 minutes, and it's I feel like it's my best dish when I'm really on the go.
All right. She does.
I love it.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, Chef Boyardee ravioli. Everyone's like, that's not even me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care.
Whatever the best dish for Trish the Dish, that is the vibe.
Right.
All right. What is the best non-curse word, one word insult? So for example, Candace's abuelita, she loves calling people like they're a crumb. Like you crumb, you know? Like that's her insult.
Right.
I love using the word right. It's like, oh, you make me feel so small when you call me a crumb.
Right.
I love the word moron.
Right.
What is your like best non-curse word, one word insult?
Oh, God, there's so many. I'm not proud of it, but there's so many. I would say for the most part, I always resort back to clown. I'm like, this clown. Like this clown, like probably clown.
Yeah.
But I will use imbecile very often too. Like I love an imbecile. I'm like, this imbecile. And then I say it with accents. I say imbecile with different accents.
I love it. That just makes it so much better. All right. Tricia, who is your celebrity crush?
My celebrity crush? Oof, that's hard.
In the past, back in the day, mine was Benny the Jet Rodriguez from Sandlot. Everyone knows that. But did you have one like back in the day when you were younger?
I did. When I was younger, I think my biggest crush was probably... But see, in my mind, like, again, this goes back to my personality. Like, these were, like, not crushes. These were, like, I could meet him and date him and be his girlfriend.
This was, like, yeah, actual opportunity. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no, like, we just need to meet, and I think he'd
like,
be...
if you chose them, they would have, obviously... You just didn't.
Like I just feel like, well, like if we met, it'd be on, But my celebrity crush, for sure. I would think my celebrity crushes were, I would probably say Diddy, out of everyone, because I've been told by too many people that I'm like the female version of what they think Diddy would be like.
Oh, okay.
So I would say Diddy. But currently, I stand for Drake. Like currently,
But was it in the Puff Daddy days or?
Yeah, well, see, I get confused because it's like Puff Daddy, it's P Diddy, it's Diddy. I think there's a couple different ones in there. But consistently, like I've had a lot of friends that have actually worked for Diddy or worked near Diddy or been like just his makeup artist or whatever. And a lot of people that have been around Diddy are like, you're like the girl version of him. Like they should do a show about you because you're like him. So I think that's interesting. Ooh, that like 5 or 6 people that have actually worked with him or been in close proximity to him are like, you're the girl version of him. So I hear that a lot. So I feel like I would like him. But I stand for Drake currently. Like I feel like if I was a rapper, I would write lyrics like Drake. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Drake writes my thoughts for me. So I would say, Diddy and Drake. That's fair.
There you go. Okay. Love it. All right. Last 2. So our clever crew knows Candace has an airport obsession. It even says it in her Instagram bio. She's probably at the airport right now as she's recording with us. Our question for you is, do you arrive 2 hours early to the airport or 2 minutes early? What's your vibe?
2 minutes.
See?
2 minutes.
I'm surprised.
We're busy. We don't have time to just be sitting around. Like, I'm doing something and I'm just walking straight onto that plane.
Plus, I travel so much, I can time it really well. Like, I'm really good at time. Yeah, like when you travel a lot, you kind of, my timing is really good. So and I don't need to be anywhere before it's time. So, my partner, on the other hand, is there the day before the flight leaves. So when I travel with him, I literally have to.
Oh my gosh, that's mine. Yes.
So when I travel with him, I have to like go to the airport and have dinner and go shopping, and like it has to be a whole day excursion before a flight arrives.
A whole production.
I'm like, it is ridiculous. Like, I don't know what we're doing here. We're not getting paid to be here. Why are we here? But when I'm by myself and when I'm with my girls, it's like I'm the last person to walk on the plane intentionally. Mm-hmm. For sure.
On purpose. Oh, I love it. Okay, last rapid fire. I love you've spilled some secrets with us. I'll spill a secret with you. I'm a huge Marvel comic book fan. And so, last question for rapid fire we love to ask is, if you were a superhero, I mean, you already are a superhero. Let's be very clear to everybody listening. But if you were a superhero, what would be your superpower of choice? What's Trish the Dish's superpower?
It would absolutely, I've thought about this at length. First off, very prepared for this question. Love. It would absolutely be the ability to disappear and appear wherever I want all the time.
Teleportation. We love that for you.
Mm-hmm. So I could just like vanish and like show up in Madrid. And like that night it's not wrinkling of the nose because I've tried it and I can't wrinkle my nose, but it's got to be like something where I close my eyes and I just like, it can be somewhere else. But I've thought about that. That is the one superpower that I would specifically want, is the ability to disappear and show up in different places whenever I want.
Yeah. Which
is kind of my guiding light for my life and all my goals, if you think about it. Being able to have freedom to do whatever the hell I want.
It's very on brand for you. That's superpower. We approve.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, I was prepared. It was almost like that was a cheat question because I walked through life prepared.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tricia. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys. This is awesome. This is a great podcast. Glad we could get it done finally.
Yes, so glad.
And Tricia, please let all the people know. We're obviously going to have all the links in the show notes so they can find you, but where do you love to hang out online? How can they get in touch with you? Share it with the Clever crew.
Sure thing. I'm always TriciaLee.com, TriciaLee.com, TriciaLee.com. And then everywhere else, I'm always sold by Tricia Lee.
All right. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Tricia. This was so much fun. And yes, we are just auto sending this episode, Candace, to all our clients on repeat. Anytime they're like, shouldn't we be humble? We're like, nope. Please visit the Church of Tricia and then come back to us.
Look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Our pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow Not Nice, Clever wherever you listen to audio.
And if you haven't already, drop that 5-star review.
Share your takeaways. Tell us your story. We love to hear it.
Signing off, your not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.